Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another webinar at AMC headquarters. I am joined here today with my colleague, Per Meyer, who is an attorney here at AMC Banking. And today we're going to talk about the NIS2 Directive. For anybody who's new here to the webinar, my name is Kenneth Nielsen. I'm the marketing specialist here at AMC Banking. With this webinar, we're going to follow up with some questions in the end. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the right side of your screen, and we'll do our best to follow up on these questions afterwards. So if you have any question whatsoever, please let us know. And this webinar is going to be recorded, and it's going to be put up on our YouTube afterwards. And it's also going to be sent by mail for everybody who is registered for this webinar. So if you need to leave at any time, you can always just watch the webinar afterwards. And of course, remember to follow us on LinkedIn, also our newsletter, where we communicate with new releases or new webinars. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. So NIS2, is your business ready? Let's hope so. In this webinar, we're going to do a short introduction on what is NIS2, when is the directive in effect, why is NIS2 important for your business. We're going to talk a bit about the consequences of non-compliance, and what does NIS2 mean for AMC Banking customers, how does AMC Banking ensure compliance, and then we're going to take you through the steps you need to do to follow up on this, and then we're going to have questions and answers. So again, if you have any questions, let us know. So what is NIS2 here?
Well, first of all, thank you for joining. As a part of the legal and compliance department in AMC, we are working thoroughly about this NIS2, the requirements from 2022 of enhanced cybersecurity measures for the affected entities. I've been told or been ordered that I'm not allowed to be boring, so I will not quote any specific directives or things, but make a walkthrough and expose in some crucial principles. The NIS2 was originally stated in 2022, so we have had around 2 years to prepare. It's more a coincidence than planned, but in Danish law, we are a little bit behind. We are, as of right now, implementing the NIS2 directive. So it will be Danish law. It is so that the Danish Parliament held the first reading of the legislative proposal yesterday on the 26th. It was around the telecommunication sector and the general framework. As I know, we have some of the audience within the energy sector, and as for now, February 27th is today. Maybe it's right now. The Parliament is doing the third reading and the final reading. So it will be the NIS law in Denmark, which is entering into force on March the 1st. It's the day after tomorrow. So for us that still have, I don't know, challenges or whatever, we are sort of busy. We're talking about essential and important entities that are directly in scope of these rules. It's of our participants, I think maybe 20% are directly enrolled in them, but for the last 80% of the participants, and not least for AMC, we are anyway in scope, because there's a strict rule about supply chain. So everyone directly in scope of NIS2 is also supposed to walk through their own supply chain, and their suppliers are also obliged to fulfill the same rules. Yes. Why is it important for your business? Well, let's see. We have I hope, a symbol. We have for the next slide. First of all, heavy fines, legal penalties. I know you can read, but I'll just quote them. Stricter documentation, security measures and audits. And another thing is you may achieve some operational disruption, both if you're compromised and if you are not in scope of the directive, because authorities will be able to impose certain sanctions. Now, this smells a little bit like GDPR, I'm sorry to say, but let's start with the heavy fines, legal penalties. Well, the heavy fines are imposed if you're not compliant with the NIS2 as essential entity or important entity, or one of the companies in the supply chain. You will get administrative fines of maximum of 10 million euros or 2% of total worldwide annual turnover in the preceding financial year. Does it smell like GDPR? Yes, exactly. This is for the worst errors or omissions. Or fuck-ups, call it what you want. But anyway, if it's one of the smaller errors or omission, there's a threshold of 7 million euros or a maximum of at least 1.4% of total worldwide turnover. Okay, the documentation security requirements, they may not be especially more strict. We've always had strict ICT requirements for physical security, for technical security, for organizational security, but now they are, number one, they are listed in the legislation, both in the directive and furthermore I know we have also a foreign, not Danish, audience operating globally or locally in your countries. And in each of your countries, there will be a similar implementation of this law. It is, it's ISO 27000. It's the CIS 8 controls. It's based on whatever you use a framework. So I don't think there's much new under the sun, at least that it's more specified. It's more concisely expressed, and the actions from authorities are getting broader. The authorities have more possibilities to react towards you, and the last thing, which I haven't brought exactly in the PowerPoint, but it's also the general liability from your customers. If your systems are not compliant to NIS2, you can't use the systems. Then your production, your deliverance of services, whatever, will stop, and you will have some customers which are probably pretty annoyed. Okay, so the stricter documentation and documentation requirements and security audit, I will give you some examples on it. And then, of course, it's also, and please note, we have called it operational disruption. And then there's, of course, the reputational risk. You always have a reputational risk when you're doing deliverances of goods and services. We have operated with fast-moving consumer good companies, and it's nice that all of their machinery are running, because it's pretty bad for the reputation if we can't, in our our thing, our AMC deliverables, if we can't provide the payments that are needed for running your business. Okay, so please have these in mind when we see the next one. And this is the boring part, and I've just sneaked a slide in. It is, and I can see it, it's from the directive, and it's Article 21, and it's with these small letters, so you can study it afterwards. The fact is that all of you essential entities, all of you important entities, all of you municipals, all of you energy companies, etc., sitting out there, you need to have policies and risk analysis, information system security. And when we do a drill down into this directive, when we do a drill down to the next level, the requirements are not just, okay, we make a risk assessment on a scale from 1 to 5. We have the risk of an event. What's the probability? Oh, it's like I tear something out of my ear. It's 3. It's always 3. It's always in the middle. Okay, what's the impact? It's, let's say it's 4. Okay, so we have a risk factor in the yellow area of our heat map, and then we go on to the next risk assessment. The requirements of these directives are more strict. You need to do the math behind your risk assessment. You need to be able to document that you have done the math behind your risk assessments. That's why our internal compliance department in AMC is not often, but we can be a little bit of a pain in the other departments, the coding, etc., because we actually require out to the perimeter thinking and documentation. Okay. Now, the only, or as a compliance person, I think this is the best thing happened in life for years. But if you see the paragraph D, the supply chain security, including security-related aspects concerning relationships between each entity and its direct suppliers or service providers. I need my inhalator, so we will just pass on to the next one. But this is in scope both for the essential important entities out there and all of their supply relations. Okay, what do we do at AMC Banking? Are we a risk, a high, medium, low risk in your supply chain? I don't know. That's your risk management department and their calculation. I know what happens when I forget my credit card and I don't have my mobile phone and I'm going out in the world. If I can't do payment, well, that's not nice. So we need to work on our own internal compliance. We do it so we can match the requirements in this NIS2 directive, not because we are directly in scope, but because we are an essential part of the supply chain towards our customers. Exactly as when we have a great team of partners, we have a few sub-suppliers, and we also have the perimeter requirements. So when we approach our partners, and I know there are also, hello to all of you partners out there, we will also approach you with material and also with requirements that can fulfill this NIS2. Besides that, we are a financial institution. We are approved from the Danish FSA, Financial Services Authority, and you've heard this so many times, our PSD2 approval to do payment initiation and account information. Besides that, we are also under the Digital Operational Resilience Act. It's DORA, and its rules similar to your NIS2 rules. What are the requirements? We are under enhanced security standard requirements, so we need to comply to or be near to the ISO 27000 family. That's why we use our ISMS and our procedures and our security setup are based on the principles in this ISO family. We are doing a risk assessment internally, and we're doing it towards our customers when we engage with customers. We do it by mirroring into the ISO 31000 risk assessment standard. Then we are met often with requirements from our customers towards a control framework. We get all of these lovely questions in lovely Excel sheets, and there are between 28 and 75 questions, typically based on the framework of CIS 8. And now I'm throwing in a lot of acronyms, I know. We're using our internal audit. We are using external auditors, both on technical and organizational side. We are about to make a mapping between the CIS controls and the NIS2, so we can apply to the directive, and furthermore we can document it. And as this is the day of celebration, when we get the Danish law, we have actually also been using half a day preparing a technical audit on some of our systems. We are fortunately running a lot on the Microsoft backbone. We have a lot in the Azure environment, so we are mirroring a lot up against the security of the Microsoft Corporation, which is good. Our internal quality assurance, our test production environments, we have principles. And that's why you as a customer sometimes also may see some of our consultants as a bit of demanding. Segregation of duties was in the old days when I met AMC Consult 24 years ago. Well, I think today we're a bit tighter on that. We have rollout procedures. We have a strict change management procedure, testing and surveillance, real-time surveillance 24/7, also for unusual events, etc. So that's what we do. We have both on the technical side and on the more administrative side. We've chosen somehow to take our own medicine to enhance our products and to be compliant, with the mandatory legislation of our customers. That's why when we place people at the company parties, I'm not the one placed first, because I'm always the annoying prick in our.
Somebody's got to be the bad guy.
Yes, and that's me.
And time is flying. I know Pierre, he likes to talk, but we still got a time frame to manage. But we still have on AMC Banking insurance compliance. I don't know if you want to walk through that quickly, or
we have this. We are a crucial part of a secure payment infrastructure. We have automated risk management internally, which should also be mirrored out on our customers. We have a vendor third-party risk management mirroring our supply chain and not least our partner, because we need to vouch for our partners and the partners need to vouch for us. We have this risk-based approach, which is mandatory in the regulation, and then we have the either we follow the rules strictly, or we need to explain each department in development, in consultancy. Either you go this way, or you have a good explanation. This should result in severe resilience and the ability to provide a business continuity to our customers.
Mm-hmm. So next steps, if there is any alarm bells ringing out there.
What we are interested in, and particularly because we have somehow convinced Kenneth and the other colleagues that number one, this compliance it's here to stay. Number two, it does actually make marginal sense sometimes for you, and you're starting quietly to respect this. And what we're interested in is also to meet you as customers. We are doing things internally. We are providing, and we can report to you, and we would like to, for your payment service, as you find it more or less important thing of your business, we would like to get in dialogue with you so we could show you our tools, our results, our things, and also help implementing them in your own business, because it's okay that your cash management, your payment, your AMC Banking is running, but it's nice to see when it's also implemented all of these security things on the customer side. So you're very welcome to reach out, and that's
yes. So as it says in the presentation, you can write to us at info@amcbanking.com, or you can always call us at the number here. I'm not going to read it out. So what we have, and we actually made it through. So if anybody has any questions, now's the time. Doesn't seem like anybody has any questions. I don't know if you just explained everything thoroughly.
All of these acronyms, this is a combination of your InfoSec, of your IT risk management, and not least your general risk managers. And the best result, and I think AMC and your FO or your BC or whatever, it's a crucial instrument in your business. And the combination between the tech people, the math people, the risk managers, the IT department, and not least the finance, and to make the best solution. I think that would be my final remark.
Yeah. If you should come with any questions after this webinar, you can always write to us, and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. You can also always get a hold of, if I can get this screen to work, we have also Thomas Vestergaard, who is our sales manager. You can always write to him, or Pierre, if you would like to do that. So there's plenty of opportunities to get a hold of us. Yeah, it doesn't seem like people have any questions. So I can just say thank you for joining us. For anybody who didn't join us from the start, this webinar is going to get recorded. It's going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And for those who are observant, will also know that it's streaming live on our website. So you can always go to our homepage if you want. So our next webinar is going to be liquidity forecasting with Inside Workspace. It's a very difficult sentence to remember. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I hope you guys will join us for that. It's going to be in 2 weeks' time. So we're going to have this webinar every second week. If you have any recommendations, any subjects you want us to take up, please write to us, and we'll try to see if we can make it into a webinar. So
then I look forward to people writing to us so we can make some drill downs in all these subjects.
Me too. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Bye-bye.